there. Welcome. Would you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Dixie Creager, the founder and CEO of Exalt Clinical Research.
And my name is Tiffany Hecklinski, and I am the co-founder of Exalt Clinical Research, as well as the vice president of clinical operations.
So tell us about your site and what type of research you conduct.
We are an all-female company. We were founded on the basis of wanting to take research to the next level, which is where we got the name Exalt. We are patient-centered, we're subject-centered. We want to make sure that our subjects have a great experience coming to our research clinic and throughout their entire time that they are on the study with us here. We are a relatively new clinic, although we do have experience of over 30 years of being in the industry. We really felt that it was important, Dixie and I both together, that we provided opportunities to a different demographic that is sometimes not easily reached in research. And instead of bringing those subjects to our clinic, we ended up going to the subjects. And so we have immersed ourselves in the community of Chula Vista in order to give our subjects the best research experience possible.
When you ask the type of research that we do, in explaining that, the simplest answer is we bring what is needed in the community. So currently, the type of research we do is phase 1 through 4. We have an on-site sleep lab, and then we do specialize in sleep, but we're branching into dermatology, women's health, obesity, and then how that relates to diabetes and sleep.
What makes your research center unique?
So I think what makes us unique, first of all, is we are one of the only research clinics in the South Bay, which is the area south of San Diego. The research that is down here deals primarily with some gastrointestinal work, but there's not a lot of other research that's available to the community in the South Bay. We think that makes us unique, and that makes us stand out, again, that we brought the research to this community instead of having that the people in this community having to go to the research. We brought it to them. And also, I would say our hands-on and patient-centric, just premise of founding Exalt was we see the subject as part of the research process. So, they are really our partners as we go through this. And so sometimes, whereas subjects may just feel that they're a subject when they go in, these people, we really get to know them. We really try to build that relationship with the subject, because not only does that enhance their experience, right? Because, they may want to participate in another study again, but it also gets them vested. So they want to do a good job. They want to make sure that they're showing up on time for appointments. They're making the phone calls. They're doing the diaries. Because the more they are vested in the process, right, the better job we're all going to do. And the more data we're going to get, the better data that we're going to get that we can then pass on to the sponsors.
And what also makes us unique is our partnership, Tiffany and I. So I am very much vested in, and have been, building sites from scratch, managing sites, going in as a site director or a consultant, and finding areas where some streamlining was necessary, processes and procedures. And Tiffany's talent is community-based. She's very much a part of the community. I, on the other hand, am looking at a crisp data collection process, being responsive to the CRO and sponsors.
What kind of experience do you have in narcolepsy research?
My narcolepsy experience, and then Tiffany's, our collaboration, goes back roughly, we're going to age ourselves, probably 25 years. Originally launched a sleep lab on site in a clinic, which at the time, 25 years ago, that wasn't necessarily done. You would outsource your sleep lab work. Being as attentive to the subject and the sponsor and the needs of the data we were collecting, we weren't happy with sending our staff over to get labs, sending one of the raters over to do the CSSRS. When we have committed ourselves to working on a project, we want to bring that in-house. So that started roughly 25 years ago, building our own sleep labs. Now at Exalt, we have our own, again, in-house sleep lab.
One thing that we pride ourselves in doing is that team-centered approach. So when Dixie just mentioned that you have to make sure that your entire staff is on board, that's something that Dixie really looks at when she's first reviewing the protocol with our principal investigator, is saying, is this something that we feel our team can execute? Because, we may be able to recruit the patients, we may be able to do the PKs and that sort of thing. But when you take all the individual pieces, but can the team do it together? And that is what's so important, is that we really want to make sure that our team, that the study is a good fit for our team.
How would an interested individual learn more about participating in studies at your site?
So we are, as Dixie mentioned, really vested into the community, and so that has helped immensely as far as building and establishing our credibility in the South Bay community of, south of San Diego. Another way is we do have robust recruiting campaigns on social media, in addition to local newspapers, to make sure that we're hitting a wide demographic. We do have QR codes that take you directly to our website, where then you can provide information. There's also links on our social media accounts, whether it's an ad that we're running just for the clinic itself or for a particular study, that allow the potential subject, to go in, enter their information, and that goes right into our database, where our recruiters can then call the potential subject and pre-screen them.
As we've said, we are right on the southern border. And so bilingual staff is very important.
Yes.
And advertising in Spanish is very important. We have subjects that cross the border specifically to participate in trials with us. And depending on the indication, some are quite underserved in their community. So it becomes very attractive to have the sort of attention and level of care that they get with us. With a particularly difficult indication, we do rely heavily on word of mouth. There are very small pockets of support and blogging that go on with certain indications. And once you are able to enroll a subject, they become your ambassador. So particularly with narcolepsy, which I keep going back to, we have narcoleptic ambassadors. And they, because we can't reach out to the group without an invitation, they are our red carpet entry.
What are participants at your site saying about their experience?
Yeah, I think the feedback that we are getting from participants about our site, whether it's during the experience or after the study's over, is that they feel like we care. Even if we have a subject that comes in and, let's say, they're unable to consent, they screen fail, what have you, they say, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And sometimes people just want to be seen and heard. And again, it's that patient-centered, subject-centered approach that we really want to take here, where sometimes people just need to have a conversation. And, some people do want to come in and, they want the latest treatment, or they want to be on the cutting edge of what's happening. And sometimes people just want to come in and talk to a medical professional, and our principal investigator and our sub-investigators can provide that. And, we don't see that as like a screen fail, as a failure, because we are providing something to that potential subject that they need. And that's bigger than research, right? And that's what we recognize. So really the feedback that we're getting is that we care. Also that we're efficient and we're effective. We don't have long wait times. We get subjects in and out.
The feedback we're getting is very interesting. And I'll segue a little bit into diversity. Over the years and spending so long in research as we have, it's obvious that there's an issue with enrolling more diverse subjects. And so when we developed our clinic here in Chula Vista, we're in the heart of the community. We're on the bus line, we're on the trolley line, and we're available to multiple cities or boroughs around us. And it's interesting because I had always sort of had this idea that you had to educate your community population. You had to destigmatize research. You had to make it a less frightening experience or something. And I really feel that we have sold this group, these groups of individuals short, because all we needed to do was brick and mortar in the community and be a part of the community.
What benefits should a patient consider before participating in a clinical trial?
A benefit that a subject or potential subject or volunteer of research to consider before joining a trial is to truly be informed and recognize that a research center's entire goal, or a clinic or the principal investigator or those researchers working on a project, our entire goal is to provide the best of care, attention to detail, and accurate documentation of what we're hearing. When they come into a research trial, number one, recognize you're going to get our undivided 100% focused attention, because that's our job. And aside from that, obviously, we're caring individuals, and we want to understand globally what the patient is experiencing. So that's number one, the attention that they are going to get from us. Number two, obviously, there's no charge for our services. We find quite often, unfortunately, that we pick up other health issues. We're going through the physical intake. We do very detailed medical histories. We catalog current medications that subjects are taking and their effects. We also do EKGs. We do blood work. Some instances, there's additional exams or procedures that are required, such as x-rays. And then we can go through, obviously, sleep studies. Quite often, I hate to say it, but we note that there's an issue and send them right away to their primary care physician. So it's just an extra set of eyes on their general health in a caring environment where we listen. And aside from that, there is compensation for their time, as we understand, as Tiffany was saying, time is valuable, and we value their participation. And we make sure that we compensate them at each visit. There's no monthly payment. They're paid. They take the time to come in and participate. We want to make sure that they understand we're grateful for their participation, and we pay them right away.
What should a patient expect at your facility when participating in a sleep study?
What our subjects can expect when they come into Exalt Clinical Research as a sleep subject is, first of all, just a high level of professionalism. We take our jobs very seriously. Everyone from Dixie and me, to our lab technician, to our pharmacy technicians, to our sleep technicians. This is a job. We know it's an important job, and we want the subjects to know that we take this process incredibly seriously. But with that being said, care. We want to make sure that they're comfortable here. We really try to provide the experience that that we would want one of our family members to experience. And that's very important to us.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
I am a patient advocate, and so I think it's important for, regardless of what indication or what health concern that you have, it's important for patients to be their own best advocate, and for caregivers to be part of the process in having that subject look for as much support as needed. Everybody needs different levels of support, and so I think it's important for the patient, the subject, and their caregiver to identify how much support they need. Thankfully, in narcolepsy, there are wonderful organizations that can provide support to not only the narcoleptic, but also the family. Again, we talk about the Narcolepsy Project. We talk about Wake Up Narcolepsy. The Narcolepsy Network can provide wonderful avenues. If they don't know the answer, they'll be able to know someone who can find the answer. As patients ourselves at different points in time of our lives, we know the importance of really being your own best advocate and having a caregiver that can also support you through the process. So I would encourage people to really do their research, find out what's out there, what trials are out there, what new medications could be coming on the market, and then finding research clinics like us that are executing those trials that could potentially change your life. And so that is really what I would encourage someone who is suffering from this disease to do.